Have you ever wanted a new toilet but the idea of paying a plumber a small fortune is kind of putting you off? In this video I'm going to be showing you how I fitted this replacement toilet with no previous plumbing experience. I'm going to be outlining the difficulties, the challenges, the mistakes I made, and I'm going to be showing you just how easy it can be.
So I'm fully aware there's a load of daft heads on YouTube unboxing £600 trainers, but here's me unboxing a £60 toilet from Wix and putting it together. Right, what I'm doing here is I'm using a sponge to remove any excess water that's left in the cistern. It's a bit of an ad hoc technique, but it stops leaking everywhere when I take it off. And what you can see is I'm just squeezing the sponge out into a bucket just to get all that water out. Just a couple of screws connecting the cistern to the wall. Just using a screwdriver to loosen them out, pull them out, but I'm going to make sure that I keep those for later on, they might come in handy. We're really lucky that we have an isolator switch on the pipe feeding the toilet, so I'm turning that off with a screwdriver before removing the water supply. I'm using a spanner to remove the water supply. It's really tricky to get your hand in, so do have fun doing it. When it gets really loose, you can just use your hand to turn it off towards the end. So there's two screws that hold the cistern to the pan. You can loosen and remove these with your hands, and once they're off, you can literally just lift the cistern clean off the pan. When I'm doing this, you can see a bit of debris and a bit of porcelain fly off, but that's just because our toilet was broken. I was absolutely staggered at how easy the pan slid off. Really easy, and surprisingly there wasn't a great deal of, how should we describe it, mess, which was also a nice surprise. I'm pushing a plastic bag straight into the waste to seal it off and help stop any undesirable smells floating about the flat. None of us want that. And I actually left this overnight, so it's completely sealed in terms of smell. The next morning I took the bag out and I put under sheets underneath in preparation of the next phase. Again, maybe a bit excessive, but nobody wants a mess, do they? When I was removing the waste, it was really easy again. I was staggered. It just slid off and there was no mess at all, which is fantastic.
I'm going to be using this Easy Fit WC pan connector. This is the male part and this is the female part. This bit goes straight into your waste. This bit goes onto your toilet, and it's got a bit of flexibility in it there so you can move. I'm going to be using a water-based lubricant to connect that, which is just some water with very liquid, and I might add a bit of silicone in parts just to make sure it's completely watertight. Let's give it a go.
So I'm fitting the new waste, and again, surprisingly straightforward and easy. Just push it on, a bit of pressure at the end to make sure it's secure, and that should be job well done. Now I'm going to be adding the water-based lubricant to the waste in preparation of the pan. Sounds really fancy, but it's literally just some fairy liquid on my finger smeared all around the outside. Then I'm literally just sliding the pan into position very carefully so it fits straight into the waste. Might need to do a bit of wiggling about to make sure it fits properly and to make sure the pipe isn't knotted. Now, a bit of a disclaimer, this is probably the worst part of the video and part I would say maybe don't do what we did. But we had a problem in that we couldn't fix pan through the tiles as we couldn't get the drill through it. So as an alternative, we just kind of lashed a load of silicone down and placed the pan on top. Probably not the best solution, but seemed to do the job. Now the cistern just slides straight on top with the screws directing you so that you know it's in position. Make sure it's secure and then begin to tighten the screws up so they're fairly tight. Here's me pretending the cistern is level with a pathetically small spirit level, but do make sure that it's perfectly level. Now it's time to reconnect the water, the most physically demanding task of the job, squeezing into a minuscule space and trying to use a very slippy spanner on a very small screw. But yeah, tighten it up and get your water connected. That's all tightened up. Make sure your isolator switch is turned off, and as you can see, we're starting to fill up. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect first flush of the toilet. Right, finally, top of the system back on with the flush installed at the correct height so that the buttons work.